is Siwale, a dairy farmer. I started dairy farming in 2015. That's when I started planting food and pasture for my animals. I was introduced to this by the Ministry of Livestock, Fisheries and Livestock. It was a small program, but I started seeing the good part of it when I started, planting. Though it wasn't very profitable, but I just developed the interest of doing, planting the food and pasture. Until in last year, 2019, when I was picked by the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, the officers there, because they used to come and monitor, they used to come and encourage me from time to time. So I was picked as the best farmer. I won myself a very nice prize of a grass cutter, being the number one in the district, and then other prizes that they gave me. This encouraged me to even do better. Just like last year, they gave us the seed again for food and pasture. Though the seed came late, you can see where we are standing here, I planted Lablab. Though the seed came late, I didn't even harvest anything. But where they gave me the seed for red sanium, I managed to plant in good time, and I have very good seed out of that. And just behind you, I planted cow candy, which also came in late, but I pray that this year it is going to give me a good yield. You can see I even protected it because I didn't want it to, just dry up completely. So I made sure that at least I did something so that even this year, I'm sure I'm going to have the cow candy for my cows. The reason why I'm in this project is that, this project gives the animal the best food that a dairy farmer, even a beef farmer can give. This in dairy, most of the seed that we plant for the animals, one, they digest very fast for our milk production, and also they give us a lot of protein for our animals, because unlike when you are just giving it grass, the grass that grows for thatching our houses, those ones, they don't have the values that are in this food and pasture that we are given. So this is why it has even encouraged me to do more, because I've seen, once you give the animal will give you very good milk. Because when you talk about milk, you talk about protein, which is very good for the animals. So these are some of the things that I do on the farm. With the seed that I planted here, which is Lablab. Lablab is like beans. It needs the soil that is well prepared, where there's no weeds. You plant it in rows so that it will be able to grow very well. Because if it is grown in rows, you are able to weed easily. You see, even applying fertilizer, it needs fertilizer. It can be grown in any type of the soil. What is important is for the farmer to make sure that you weed, you apply the fertilizer according to the time that it will need at the stage where it's flowering, so that you apply. We don't apply urea and D at the same time. With Lablab, you only apply D. That is the thing. Now, the challenges that Lablab has got, it attracts a lot of insects that eats it, especially at the time of flowering. So you have to go to Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock. The officers will be able to advise you how to spray, because they have to come to look at the pests which are there, and then they will tell you the right insecticide to go and buy, and then come and spray. But otherwise, you can grow it anywhere. Those are just some of the few challenges that Lablab has, but it is very easy. The way you grow beans, that's how you grow even the Lablab, because it's in the same family. When you grow it, let me take, maybe you plant it in maybe January or maybe November. You can wait until the time that the other crops are being harvested. That is maybe in April, you can harvest. What is important is for us to be ready, to be, you nurture it so nicely that it can be there to give you good yield up to the time that you are harvesting these other crops. That's the time you harvest even Lablab. They will dry up just like beans does, they will dry up and then you harvest. And then there's one thing as a dairy farmer. If you don't want to dry up, maybe you can have two portions. You plant it, plant the ones that you are going to only feed your animal when they are green. That is fine. But you have also not to give it too much to the animal. But you can cut it, add with other, cereals, and then you give it to the animals. If you want to plant until you have seed multiplication, then let it dry up to the time that you harvest in April, and then you harvest. Because even seed Lablab, we feed to the animals. You roast it, and then if you want to take it to the grinding mill, or even at home, you use a mortar and then you pound, you add that to the feed. The reason why we want it to dry is for seed multiplication, so that you don't. But if you've got enough, plant so that even the grains, when they are green, you cut and then they what. But if you are milking, don't give it when it is flowering, because it has got a scent that will even go into the milk. So you have to make sure it's at the tender stage where it doesn't, give you that scent. Especially when it's flowering, you can see that there's a lot of scent. So you don't have to give it like that. Make sure that at a tender edge there, you cut and then you give to the what. Those ones which are pregnant, they are what, you can give them. But when you're milking, you have to be careful. You don't have to feed it when it's flowering, because there's that scent that can go to the milk. Though, if at all I was helped in a way whereby I can get maybe the irrigation system which can take me a long way, I'm sure you can see that as old as I am, I can do something very good, even for my friends also to say this is good for the farmers.